So part two to the faction tower starting teams. This is a little bit more advanced, so I didn't feel like it was good to put in that first video. But essentially, you have two more towers: the Celestial and the Hypogean towers. They get unlocked later, and it's kind of a quicker on this one because one, it's not really easy to pick these characters. So unlike other factions, you don't really have much of a selection. It's just sort of the ones you have when you get that unlocked, and then you can see how far you progress. But I will go over them with a little bit of detail. So the first thing off the bat is when you're doing the Celestial Tower, everybody gets a copy of Wukong. You just have to do the shared thing, the shared social media thing. You just get a copy of him. It's like the very first Celestial that you get. Again, in the beginning, he's fine. He can carry a couple floors. And then after that, he's a secondary DPS. If he ults, it's pretty good to watch him, turn into a million copies of himself and kind of tank the whole of the team. So he is really helpful in that regard. And again, he's free. Another thing to mention is in the store. So if you go into the store to the Challenger store, you have the availability to pick up Athalia. Athalia is really great because one, you can just buy her, and she can solve problems. So in the Celestial Tower, you'll have an issue, and that is that most Celestials are support. There's not really that many DPS, so it's kind of hard to kill the team. You don't die, you just heal yourself and buff yourself, and then they just win. So eventually they just kill you. So like for instance, in this matchup, if there was a character that I was particularly dreading fighting, like Sophia, let's say, like Sophia has when it's on the enemy team, she will drop this bomb on you that will just wipe out your whole team, and it happens as soon as she can ult. So maybe I want to get rid of her right off the bat, so you just put Athalia across from her, and boom, she will solve your problem. So that can be really helpful. Another thing to think about is that you will, as a part of the meta of building characters for different game modes, you absolutely want to get copies of the twins. However, without them being built, they are probably one of the worst units to use in the tower, just because they die so fast. They will literally, one of them just runs away from the other one, and then they both just die. And it's like they need to be built, they need to have engravings, they need to have furniture, other stuff happening in order to be able to survive. If for whatever reason they can survive, if you distract the team by potentially stacking enough combat rating on other characters and therefore they just get ignored, they can be a boost. They can be something that you can they will put their giant haste ult up, but it's so few and far between for them to. I mean, if you put a Durus Call on them, the AI just like smells it, and they just destroy them. So it's use at your own risk. A little bit chaotic. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it's just horrible. So just think about that. Alna is another character that you're going to be just again through the meta. You're going to be building. So she's a really good tank just for that reason. I would say your primary carries off the bat are Audrey. She is amazing. Again, it's kind of like a thing where as long as you can keep the enemy team distracted off of her, she can kill the whole team. So that's really good. Past that, you have characters that I don't have, so we're going to go into the portraits. So you've got the new character, Vilthale. He's really good at carrying. He's kind of a carry by himself kind of character, just because he just does like the big swiping like attacks and can hit everyone. And so yeah, by himself he can kind of carry. But I would say that those are kind of like the two main carries you're kind of wanting to go for. Again, you don't really have your options about who you're going to be picking because you're going to be building other characters first. So it's sort of just whoever you can pull. But let's say you happen to get one of these characters out of one of the events, the monthly events, then great, they can work. Helios is a really great support. Taylene is a really great support. Sorry, that's the Awakened Taline. Original Taline is a really good support. Um, Flora is a really good support. You can actually get her from one of the stores as well again, so that's another option for not having to worry about RNG. Um, the Awakened version of Taline, just like any other tower, will carry you. So once you get into the later levels and you have to split into multi-team fights, she can be her own team kind of deal. You just get people around her to support, and she can just, when she ults, they switched up Awakened Taline from original Taline. Instead of her being more of a heal support character, she's just all out damage and will just destroy everything. So get her to ult, you win. So she's really, really great. And that's kind of it for them. Again, you don't really have the option to select these things in any real meaningful way. So it's just like, hopefully you get these characters. If you get these characters, you'll do well. Another thing to note is that if you happen to be in the middle of a tower level that you're stuck on, and Lilith announces a new character and you get a free copy of that character, that's amazing. Vilithel came out while I was in the middle of progressing in the Celestial Tower, and I was hard stuck. And when he came out, I got to merc him just for a couple days, like the trial character version. He was full built, and he carried me in 2 days. He carried me 40 levels. So it's dirty, but it works, right? So something to hopefully help you through. Hypogeans, there's really just one thing to mention about all of this. I mean, it's just Lucy. You could put Lucy with a bunch of level 1s, and all the level 1s will die, and she'll get buffs from all that, and she'll kill everything. Now, in the beginning, she won't do that well without teammates unless she's at Mythic. Once you get her to Mythic, she unlocks her signature item. Her signature item is stupid broken. She gets haste. She gets attack power. She gets she heals herself when she ults. I mean, she will literally just kill everything. So that's really all you need to do to get up in the towers. At a certain point, again, you'll kind of get hard-walled, and then you'll need to start building out some of the other characters. So at that point, you've got a couple selections. Zolrath is probably like one of the best DPS to pick. Again, this is so much later in the game. I hardly think it qualifies for starting team video. But you'll be getting Mortis through the meta anyway, so that's another one to have. Valoris is actually really good. If you, for whatever reason, don't have a copy of Lucy and you just have Valoris, Valoris can be a carry for at least like 20 or maybe 40 levels. So that can help you through if you happen to pick her up. I really like her design. I wish that she was, I guess more meta or something. And then Kanisa and Rook. Kanisa and Rook is probably one of the best tanks to use in there, or just, in general. Really, really great. So those are, hopefully you have some luck pulling some of these characters, or if you just happen to be super broken or you're a whale, then, build these characters for the tower. That's who I would recommend. Hopefully this has helped you. And again, I split these out from the original video because I just felt like it's not really starting game territory talk. It's more like mid game when you unlock the Celestial Hypogean towers. So I guess mid game starting teams for Celestial Hypogeans. Enjoy.